Alright, so I'm really excited for the note you left on this one, because you said that once you got discorded, you couldn't stay alive long enough. And that tells me almost right away, the problem probably isn't the discord. You probably require too much resources from your healer, too many resources from your healers the entire time. One of my first things right away, super minor, but how are you gonna... Let me make sure I saw it right. No, never mind. Look at when you drop your shield. So you're half when you drop your shield, and your Zarya bubbles you right away. So you know you're not going to have the bubble, but you keep swinging. I don't think that you were necessarily going to win that fight, but you lost that fight faster than you needed to. Because you weren't probably going to win the shield war, so I understand why you thought you might get a swing or two off. But, I mean, look at your ult charge. It wasn't worth it.
Can you go left, not go main? Yeah, just can you speed me? I'm at spawn. Alright, thanks. I can pop you in right.
You need to use your orb, Mara.
Make sure we're just discord the Ryan and keep it on.
Your just team as a whole, your comms are not solid so far. I mean, it happens sometimes with teams that have great chemistry. I don't know that that's the case, but it's crazy that on your way up you weren't even talking about what ults they had, who got value out of that fight. I think someone told your Zen to use the orb, and that was the only real planning conversation you had. And what are you shielding right here? You're down 100 on the shield war already, and you're not shielding anything.
They have shadow.
Speed amping? Right. Why did you shield?
How did they not shield you? What?
Right. I'll use
They
speed.
have shadow.
Speed amping? Right. Why did you shield?
How did they not shield you?
I don't know exactly what to say there. Your Lucio sped so that you guys could get together, and 3 people went back and 3 people went forward, so you all died.
I'll touch.
I didn't touch.
I got it. I'm going.
They're gonna grab us off if we group up. Go, yes, Chazza. Go, yes, Chazza.
Why would you guys commit trans first when you could have just charged onto the point? And charge.
Go, yes, Chazza.
Saw Steve pump points.
Reinhardt discorded. Focus the shatter.
Oh my god. Get D.Va on your Zen.
Don't see mine.
So what do you guys have here?
Right side, probably.
Yeah, we're gonna rally in D.
Good. Now what did they have here? Did they farm their grab again? Did they farm their shatter again?
Pop rally on the next engage.
This is such a common problem with teams just in general when they're like first learning or when they don't have that full chemistry yet or whatever it is. You guys have to know what you're going to do, but you also need to know what they are going to do. If you don't know what your enemy team's going to do, what's the point? So you guys say, yeah, I'm going to say beat for grab. Where are they going to grab you? When are they going to grab you? What are you going to do when they sound barrier you? Sound barrier. What are you going to do when they shatter you in the grab? Like, do you guys have this worked out? Is Zarya going to save the bubble for you for shatter? Or, I mean, what is the plan here? Do you know what ults they have besides grab? Do they have grab right now? Or are you just saying, I'm going to save it for grab when they get it? it's going to change the way you play totally. It's going to change how grouped up you can be. It's going to change everything. And I'm not hearing that out of you guys.
Pop rally on the next engage. You guys ready? Pop rally now.
Discorded,
Pop
Ryan.
rally now.
I'm discorded. Ryan discorded too.
I'm discorded.
You have the rally here, and you guys are backing up.
I have no armor packs.
A matrix.
There's Zarya's alone on the left. Pop ref. Alright. Pop rally on the next engage.
As far as your Zarya, I don't want to see her using bubbles to get charge and goats. She should always have 100 charge.
I have no armor packs.
I don't know why you didn't get bubbled there at all, because the Discord never ever left you.
I'm pinned.
That's my bad. I got split away from you guys on the left side.
What's the super high ping? Anyone else have high ping?
Maybe West Coast.
Yeah, I have 80. Or 90. It is West Coast.
It's not gonna be West Coast, it's gonna be East Coast.
Get a widow,
Nah, I have 90, dude. It's not East. It's not based on host. I think it's based on majority. So even if there's spectators count.
Oh, yeah, then it's possible.
I have 160 ping. Oh,
That's bad.
yeah.
Hey, that's my average ping to EU.
Same. It's not my average right now.
We're gonna focus Zen first. Are we ready? Are we close enough?
I got
Oh,
Zen,
we got
I got
one down. Zarya's no
Medium
personal. Zarya's no personal. We should push it. I'm on Lucio and Brig. Brig has no armor pack. Brig no armor pack.
Something's one under there.
I'll check.
Nice. I'm glad you jumped out. So when I'm playing Winston, you know, if I can get a 3-man cleave, like I'm happy. If I can get a 5, 6-man cleave, I may die for that if it'll build my primal. And so I'm glad to see that you didn't just let them do whatever they want and you actually went down. I do hate that looking at where your team is. We don't really need the map to do this actually, because this is super simple. Looking at where your team is. Healer, Genji. I'm assuming Widow is even higher on this high ground. I haven't actually seen her. And I think your D.Va is just to your left. I hate that you rotate around this way, because obviously your healers aren't going to be able to see you. Your Widow may get better sight lines from you rotating that way, but it's not going to be game changing, and so you're going to die if you rotate that way. It almost has to happen, unless you guys had already gotten enough picks, which you haven't.
Purple, I'm gonna die here.
Yeah, you're on the other. You gotta peek me from that pillar. I can't heal you on that side of the pillar. Can't heal on that side of the pillar.
Nice pick on the Zen. Zarya.
I'll get her.
Okay, stagger this. Actually, I might just test it.
Let's take the tower with Widow. So just switch to Monkey.
We can go for early Nano Blade before they get the support ults.
Let's use Widow's bait if we can.
They don't have chance. They don't have chance. Yeah, because Zen died early, so we can get Nano Blade.
And I also got picked up just early, so.
I'm trading.
So once you got Nano,
Thanks for trading. I'm backing up.
I have Nano.
I'll jump back up. If you want to nano. Oh, you're nanoing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys gotta talk and know what's going on. You have to. It's horrible that you almost suicided because you thought you were gonna get nanoed. Not for I think you guys are 4.0 or 4.2. That's just not something that can be happening.
We got their Widow.
Lucio one. Brig one,
Yeah, I got both. I'm looking for the...
Monkey on point. Zen main.
Trying to deal with Zen.
I'm trading with Monkey right now.
Yeah, it's coming back from main. If you need heals, peek main.
I got walls. Where's their Widow?
And that's an example where I would have loved to see your team win slower. When you know, like, there was no sort of baby D.Va stagger. Even the Winston, who can't jump far enough to get out of there, especially against the D.Va, Genji, Widow, etc. I would have loved to see you guys win a little bit slower and get free percentage.
Can we trade tanks here?
Break bubbles like Neil.
I'm backing up to peek
You can back up. You guys don't really need this high ground.
Lucio 1, Lucio 1, Lucio 1.
I'm gonna sleep monkey, sleep monkey. Monkey stop, monkey stop. Peek the edge, Diva, Diva, peek the edge, Diva, peek the edge.
I'm coming.
I'm close to Nano.
It's unfortunate. I understand why you went for the Lucio, but it's unfortunate.
I'm not on point, I'm not on point. I need help, I'm point.
Do you know where your Ana is?
Oh, I'm not just debate. I'm 160.
Even one, even one.
No. I got you. Reloading, I'm reloading. Mark.
Not with you, Prez, not with you.
I'm reloading.
So you were just as low right here. Your Ana is back here. So you actually dropped out of her line of sight and then said you're low on point.
I have to heal.
I'm lit on point, I'm lit on point, I'm lit on point. I need help, I'm point. I'm lit on point, I'm dying to Lucio.
I'm not close to debate. I'm 160.
Even
Diva
one,
back
even
forward.
one.
Keep me alive, keep me alive. Yo, Lucio chase me, I'm dead.
Widow half high ground, Widow half high ground.
I wouldn't use ults, I wouldn't use
Very
ults.
gun point.
I wouldn't use ults, we lost.
We have 99, we can regroup and we can take it.
Okay. This is what you just said. We have 99, we can regroup, and we can take it. How? What is the plan? What is your enemy going to do to you? How are you guys going to actually win this?
There's no trying.
Even a basic plan. This is like when teams have like a nano blade, and so they're like, oh, force trans. And no one talks about how to force transcendence.
I'm not peeking.
You don't know how you're going to force it, and so you spend a whole fight expecting someone else to force it and not popping your nano blade, and then you guys miss out on an entire fight.
There was a second the high ground.
I'm gonna nano.
Like, what's going to happen here? Are you guys saving all 6 alts to just win with an alt economy fight? Are you going to try and make space for your Widow so she can get a support fight?
Monkey in the back.
Does anyone know?
Monkey purple, monkey dead.
Or are you just going to win one fight? That's the plan.
I got you. No, you meant from the south area.
Yeah, I tried to stop area, Mara.
I mean, that level of communication is like the minimum that I expect out of like solo queue. And so if you're playing with a team that has actually gotten any sort of communication training, you guys are screwed.
Zen purple,
Zen
zen purple.
purple, Zen purple, Zen purple, Zen purple.
He's one. I need monkey.
You really wanted that Zen.
I got him, I'm helping you.
Have to do that.
It ended kind of clean.
Cap point. They're gonna start touch.
But what was the plan there, alright? What if Ana had thrown her nano on you, you had thrown your primal, and I believe you guys had another one.
That's fine, we're good.
No, I mean everyone is decent on their ults, so I don't know exactly. But what if you had lost that one? And now because you saw an opportunity to throw your primal and Ana saw an opportunity to throw her nano, you're going into the last fight, 99-99, without 2 of your most valuable alts.
Our dive is
Bad at goats here? Is that what it is?
Can I please
listen.
do this?
We already know. Look, don't get discouraged by first round. We've already known like from the get go that our dive is better than our goats. And
Don't
when we
get
face
discouraged, period.
and we
If we lose everything, I don't care.
I mean, we can just try
Yeah,
it.
you guys are playing the scrim to improve. You don't need to win, by any measure of the word.
Like, see what it is about it that they fuck us
No
up.
goats, no goats right
What it is about your goats, you guys got ran on your goats because you had no teamwork and you had no plan.
fair enough, dude.
Goats is still going to be meta next patch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's gonna be less.
Even if goats is never going to be meta again, it's good to know.
They're gonna be better.
I'm going
Right,
right, I'm
go
going
right.
right. Ryan is Discord.
We gotta focus on the
Alright,
right.
they cleanse the Discord. Every time we Discord, we get cleansed by the bubble. I have no shield, I have no shield, I have no shield. I have no shield and I'm Discord. I'm backing up. I'm retreating.
I got moved in.
Back up.
Pop quiz for you. Does their Ryan have his shatter?
What we need to do is we need bubble Ryan in, then DM with it, okay? We need to communicate that better. So bubble and then
What if
DM.
we play, like, we
If
play
they-
aggro until I get Discorded, then bubble me? I don't know.
I think their Ryan has his
We got
shatter.
Discorded, we just
You're
lose.
standing out in the open.
If they
You're not getting
bubble
to
their
natural
Rhine
cover.
because you got discorded, you can bubble your Rhine and then hard engage on them.
Hang on, back up. They're using
I'm too far
rally.
up, I'm too far up.
So you've already lost the shield war, and you actually let it break, which is frightening.
There's already fully charged.
Takes longer to recharge, and you can't even throw it up. There's a video out there, I forget who the main tank is, but he literally blocks a shatter with like 40 health on it, because all he did was throw it up at the right time.
We're grabbed inside of each other.
Oh, I couldn't get trans. I got stuck on the other side. That's unlucky. We got
And here's the thing too. So you guys understand that you're being outplayed on your goats, but you're still playing Zen goats, which is the most greedy of all the goats, and is the Zen goats just doesn't often take a losing situation into a winning situation. And I understand if that's what you're trying to practice, but I just don't totally get it. You guys aren't getting any value out of your Discord. You clearly don't have enough healing if you're not getting value out of the Discord.
Let's go back up top.
Do you want to go through bottom?
We can also fake the like bottom.
Let's go bottom. Let's go bottom and go straight to point. Straight to point. Fight him on point. Fight him on point. Quick. I'll speed it down. We're definitely not good at choke. We're good when it's open. We can play like dive. I'll use beat.
Just play your goats like dive.
Ryan as much as I can. Come on, Ryan.
Using beat now. Play aggressive. Play aggressive. Play aggressive.
Ryan. Still on Ryan.
Discord Ryan's one. They use four strands. We have free grab. We have free grab. Group up. We're not group.
Ready?
I don't think you have free grab because I think they have sound barrier. Yeah, there's the sound barrier.
Whenever you get it, just go for it.
I got Lucio.
Why did you not just run him into a wall?
You went up. I wasn't gonna be able to.
It doesn't seem like your team is going to win goats v goats. And I think that the reason that you're not going to win goats v goats is that it really feels like you guys just almost just don't know what you're doing. And the nice part is there's so many ways to learn. Okay, you personally and team overall, we're just going to do your biggest each because that's what I think that you should focus on right now. So team overall, I want you guys to stop forgetting that you have an enemy team and plan around that. And that's kind of two things. So it's just crazy to me when I don't hear some sort of comms like how we're going to do something or what is going to happen to us next fight. Where are we going to get grabbed? Do we need to grab first? How are we going to force out Transcendence? Do we have a free grab or do they have their other support ult? And when I don't hear stuff like that, I mean, it's almost like depressing because like I said, that's what I expect out of like solo queue. I don't expect that out of a team. And I want you guys to be planning for what you're going to do and how you're going to win. Not just we walk in and we win. And then like you guys even talked at one point, bubble first and then DM. So let's take that a step further. How about personal bubble first, fall back, bubble, DM, recycle, personal bubble, fall back, bubble, DM, and you win like that. You don't win by going in, pressing every single cooldown when you run into the enemy, and then you don't have what you need. And then you don't win by you discord their Rhine, it gets cleansed, and you basically give up putting the discord on their Rhine again. So think about what your enemy team is going to do, and think about how you guys are going to execute what you're going to do. That would be my number one tip for your team. For you personally, I agree that you were getting melted when you had the Discord. Definitely. I also definitely agree that your dive was stronger. I would say that your dive was stronger because your Winston was much stronger than your Rhine. Not because you just like your team was better at dive. What happened with your Winston was it actually seemed like you had a very good vision of how to use your cooldowns. You would walk in, you would jump out of the fight. It was very rare that you jumped to stay in a fight or to go into a fight. Your bubbles, it wasn't as important with who you were fighting against. That's the thing about them. But they were all fine. Your Rhine, on the other hand, it felt like you were just burning your shield to burn your shield sometimes. You stood at this choke up here. Oh, is the sound not there? My bad. So you stood at that choke up there and just chilled before your team was even ready to push and then you guys had to wait for your shield to go back up, which you let break totally. On the very first map, you guys were going for a push in, and your shield ended up just under 200 down before anyone else was even there. And so you wasted it, and so you're going to lose the shield war, and so you're going to get discorded, and you're going to get melted. It's just fine to keep your shield up until you can be cleansed of the discord, or to communicate with your Zarya when she's going to bubble you so that you know when the discord's going to go off. But really, I would say that if you want to do better in GOATs, you personally need to improve on your shield usage on your Rhine, first and foremost. I don't ever want to see you dropping it to swing when you're not seeing your health go up and your health is already half. And I think that you'll have a lot better time.